morning, your Vanguard advisor would come in and they'll see their dashboard. And not only will it have their own accounts, but also will have what are the strategic priorities at the firm level, right? So it can be shown at the top of like, hey, you need to be targeting excellent client retention, excellent AUM growth, retirement readiness for your customers, and then digital adoption. And then they would see, hey, this is the total business overview, average portfolio return, client touches, net promoter score, this week's client priorities, so that they can focus on like what they should be doing and why, right? Like, hey, you should be recommending a college savings plan to someone who just had a baby, roll over an RSU strategy to someone who started a new role at Microsoft, and so on and so forth. It gets the guessing out of them. Complete client roster that is here that you can like look through your customers, and then full book analysis like client segmentation, asset allocation mixes, and so on and so forth, right? Then it is about preparing for an individual meeting, right? So this is something that Joanna liked, where you can come in, you have all these meetings, and you can actually get these ready in your Microsoft, in your email or tools, right? Where you have like, hey, I am, meeting with Sarah Martinez. Here's what her goals are. Here's all the summary of the notes and meetings that I had in the CRM. Here's the overall portfolio, AUM, and allocation, and how it's grown over time, ESG priorities, communication preferences, and then what are some of the cross-sell opportunities? Like, hey, she does seem to have limited ESG exposure. Maybe you want to recommend Vanguard ESG US stock ETF, or ESG international stock ETF. Vanguard Cash Plus account for some of the, because she has like pretty high cash allocation, as well as conversation starters and next best actions in an email. Then it's all about what happens is automating some of the communications and the follow-ups, right? Like, are you talking to a high net worth client, a retiree, a business owner? What are Vanguard's communication principles and how we want to do it? And then, do you want to talk about low-cost investing or Q4 market review or tax loss harvesting? And do you want to sound data-driven and objective? Do you want to sound educational and informative? And so on and so forth. And you can have multiple different versioning of this content, and it's all with your compliance guidelines built in, and multiple variations. And this is something like where they can come in to build that content out. And by the way, like what we find with financial advisors is like they will follow next best actions if it represents how they like to do business, right? So they will be able to modify those playbooks to build different versions of the client meeting prep that represents us, because the biggest challenge with adoption is like giving them boilerplate things. And then finally, if we wanted to show an example of an application, this is something that we've been working on with Edward Jones, which is, hey, this can be built in a full client software tool using Writer Agent with Command Center with all our clients, where you can schedule calls, where you can look through the calendar, where you can go through all your clients and go through like priorities and why, your leads, and then overall content that is recommended. So that's kind of gives us enough to walk through it, both from applications and use cases. And I think we should just make it conversational and say that this is highly customizable, and these are just examples of what we wanted to show in terms of the art of the possible. But we'd love to dive deeper into their strategic priorities and how they'd want to enhance the work of their advisors. Let me know